Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Alrighty, let's see what we got over here. Got 3 new comments rolling in here. And all right, so first one in this morning was Phelan Clan Wolf with a good morning YouTube. And then Crew 1351 and KP Heathen rolled in. Alrighty, so we are on starting. Let me just shift me up to the corner over there. Oof, there we go. So we're doing chapter 19, going through it. Yesterday there were some major changes in the storyline that were written into it. Things changed up, so it's going to be rather interesting today with a lot of the changes going on. So we'll get into it here, but for those that have been following along, this is in a different universe in the multiverse, basically. Takes place in 2030. Oh, I forgot to put it on here right now, so I'm going to get this fixed right here first. Get the date in here. 2037. There we go. And anyways, yeah, so this is taking place with this in a different part of the country than the last novel was, which was Against the Wind. So this is the Scout and the Ninja. And we're getting near the end of book 1. And the the asteroid is starting to get close enough to pass by. So things are going to get really exciting and scary for our intrepid friends here. So we're going to get at it here now. All right. Chapter 19, The Arrival Cometh. Monday morning, Kimberly woke up with a start and knew something was not right. She sat up and looked over at the alarm clock that sat on the dresser. 3:55. She listened hard to hear what she thought might have what. Bleh. Sorry, getting tongue-tied here. First thing out in the morning. She listened hard for what she thought might have wakened her up, but there was nothing. Only sound of Michael breathing as he lay next to her in bed. I might as well get dressed. I'm not going to be able to get back to sleep, she said to herself. She slid out of bed and hang on, what's going on? Shh. All right. I'm a text message from my daughter about Eli coming over here. What time? She doesn't know what time he's going to come over. All right, I might as well get dressed. I'm not going to be able to get back to sleep, she said to herself. She slid out of bed and went over to the dresser, got out a pair of loose-fitting jeans, socks, and a snap front flannel shirt. She looked at them and put the shirt and jeans back. Then she got out a set of Marine Corps Combat Utility Uniform, or MCCU for short, which she'd picked up at a surplus store, and a green T-shirt, and set them on the folding chair next to the dresser. She unzipped her one-piece pajamas, slipped out of them, folded them up. She walked over to the bed, set the pajamas on her pillow, looked down at Michael. She was tempted to remove her underwear and crawl back into bed with him, but she had made a promise not to do that until they were married. Sighing, she turned back to the chair and put her MCCUs on. And when the floor, sighing, she turned back to the chair and her MCCUs. Okay, yes. So sighing, she turned back to the chair and her MCCUs when the floor bounced under her and the cabin began to shake. She threw herself back onto the bed and wrapped her arms around Michael. I hate earthquakes, she rasped as she squeezed him. The intensity of the quake dropped quickly, but continued to linger as a slight vibration for several minutes. As she lay in Michael's arms, Got to put the comma in there. His hand suddenly moved up and down her back and stopped when they felt the material of her sports bra and boxer briefs. For a second, I thought you were naked, Michael said with a quiver in his voice. I was thinking about it before the earthquake started. If you don't hold me tighter, I just might get naked. Michael squeezed tighter. We'll be okay. The earthquake is not going to get you in here. Shit, she yelped when the cabin gave a strong jolt. Are you sure? Because it sure seems like earthquakes hate me as much as I hate them. The earthquake is supposed to be passing by the earth tomorrow night, and if the quakes don't stop settling down by Thursday evening, I'll get my mom to marry us, okay? Okay, Kimberly said reluctantly. I just wish the cabin would stop shaking so I can get dressed. I don't know. I kind of like this. Michael smiled goofily at her and rubbed his hands over her back some more. Keep that up, and your mom will walk in on us boinking. Michael's hands froze instantly. That's just right. That's right. Just hugs. Hang on, put a comment on that one there. Kimberly said and hugged Michael tighter. Now that feels right. An hour later, Michael and Kimberly came out of his room to find everyone gathered around the breakfast bar with hot drinks in their hands. The conversation died off when they saw Michael and Kimberly. The fact wasn't lost on the two. Really, guys? Michael griped. Yeah, really? Kimberly added. What were you talking about? What were you talking about us? No, what were you talking about us about? Okay, hang on. All right, I know what I'm trying to say there, but it's got to be something a little bit different the way I do it. I want to change this, just a different verbiage here. What were you saying about us? Nothing really. Susan tried to intercede. Bullpucky, Kimberly said as she pulled down two mugs from the cabinet. You guys were talking about a relationship one way or another. Now spill it. Monica and Janet looked sheepishly at the mugs in their hands. Susan opened her mouth to speak, but closed again. Larry and Phelan looked embarrassed and refused to make eye contact. Benjamin just looked at them and was biting his lip, trying not to laugh. Fine, Kimberly barked, putting the mugs down on the counter hard. Turned around, turned to Michael, pulled him close and whispered, left the word out of it in his ear for several seconds. Michael stood up straight and thought for several seconds before saying, okay. Kimberly turned to Monica and Janet. Since you refuse to tell us, you leave us no choice but to play our trump card. You have 10 seconds to spill it, or we're getting naked and having sex right here on the breakfast bar in front of you. 1. She started unbuttoning her MCCU blouse. 2. Hang on, let me fix that. Make that a cattle. She finished unbuttoning the blouse and pulled it off. Michael was half a second behind her. 3. Their t-shirts came off. 4. 5. Boots were unzipped and kicked off. 6. Belts were undone, pants going down when Janet shouted, all right, stop, geez. You guys were going to do it? Kimberly kept going. Michael followed suit. 7. Kimberly grabbed her sports bra. We were talking about how much you guys are driving us nuts and whether or not we should tell you. Janet sputtered very quickly. Demand demanded that you get married and go. Janet continued, then halt. Have sex, Monica said. We just can't take it anymore. No, screamed Kimberly. You're not going to buckle and wimp out on us. Because you two are too weak when you were young. We had to make the 22-month deal for when we were getting married to get you to go along with us dating and getting engaged. No way in hell are you backing out on us, or we will actually get naked and have sex right in front of you. Is that clear? Kimberly looked at her mom. Mom, is that clear? And she started pulling the sports bra up. Yes, it's clear, Monica said quickly. Mama, it's clear, Janet answered. Kimberly pulled the sports bra back down in place and grabbed the t-shirt, pulled it on. I'm having tough enough time with the earthquakes without you adding to our worries. If anyone's going to ask for the date to be changed, it'll be us. She took a breath. Because I'm so scared of the earthquake, Michael and I said that if they don't start decreasing by Thursday evening, then he will ask you to marry us. And that's because by then I will need sex to de-stress me, or I'll go off the deep end. She looked at Benjamin. Okay, Pop, what's so funny? Well, first I told him it was a bad idea even to be talking about it. Second, you two might have gotten naked, but you weren't going to actually have sex, were you? Kimberly smiled and shook her head. We might have stopped before actually boinking this time. Maybe, Michael muttered. Really? Kimberly said to Michael. Hey, as hot as you are, my sexy ninja, seeing you naked, actually seeing you naked, I don't think I could have stopped. Oh, that's so nice, Kimberly said, wrapping her arms around Michael's neck and kissing him. Okay, guys, you need to get the rest of your clothes back on, Benjamin said. Not just yet, Kimberly said, and went back to kissing Michael. Please, Janet said. All right. Hang on. Kimberly said, and slowly pulled away from Michael and started putting the rest of her clothes back on. Mom, Monica, please don't piss her off like that again. It was all I could do to control myself. Next time there won't be stopping us, Michael pleaded as he pulled his clothes back on. Okay, but I'm going to need a lot of chamomile tea, Janet said. Me too, Monica said. See, you guys have stuff. You have that stuff in prescription drugs and alcohol if you want. All Michael and I have is each other and knowing that you want us to succeed. Man. Ow. Yeah, last night, one of my molars chipped, and evidently the nerve is exposed, and so it's really bothering me. I took some painkiller, but it's not quite kicking in yet. I may need to put some topical heavy duty stuff on there, but I don't like messing with that stuff. All right, let's get back to this. Now I feel like a pile of manure, Janet said. Me too, Monica said. She's a Marine Forcon, Peyton answered. She's a ninja. Hears all, sees all, Larry added. No. Hang on. She's Athena, the goddess of wisdom, poetry, art, and war strategy, Michael said flatly and chuckled. And a super hot, sexy Marine ninja that I'm going to marry. Kimberly snorted a laugh. That was, hang on. There we go. That was almost enough to get you to get me to marry you now, my super scout. Rein in the compliments. Oh, I'll rein in the compliments. A little, Michael smiled as he. Michael smiled, zipping up his boots. That's okay. You don't have to. Kimberly smiled at him. She went back to the kitchen, grabbing left there. Okay, Larry said. Who are these two? What happened to the cold-hearted killers that were helping us plan defense and offense out yesterday and the day before? Oh, they're in there. Hang on. Hang on. I'm going to shift the word. This part here. Oh, they're in there. Yeah. Oh, they're in there, Benjamin stated. This is their softer, lovey-dovey side that they only show the family. It's like in the comics, Earth 2's Golden Age Batman and Catwoman. They can't be crime fighters all the time. They have to be Bruce Wayne and Celia Kyle to recharge themselves. Oh, Peyton, Larry, and Susan all said. Smiling, Kimberly mixed the hot chocolate while Michael filled 2 water bladders. Seeing them like this is why I want them to get married. Why I want them to get married and be happy now, Monica said softly. I hate having to watch them prepare for war. Same here, Janet sighed. I'm so proud of both of them for everything they've done, but at the time it scares me they might have to do things that'll drive them apart before they can get married. Don't worry about that. Hang on, I'm going to shift this around, put it up there in the middle as well. Yeah. Kimberly said. Don't worry about that, Kimberly said. We planned on doing everything together, including killing brigands, rapists, and other scum from the bottom of the barrel. You see, we've been reading the same books for years. We are of a like mind. We know what's coming. We know what has to be done, and we're not afraid to do it, Michael added as he took a big sip of the hot chocolate Kimberly handed him. Yeah, but when you pull the trigger for the first time, everything changes, Peyton said with a bit of regret in his voice. That's true. It can screw you up if you're not ready for it. Did your ranger training get you ready to deal with it? Kimberly asked, and then took a long, slow sip of her hot chocolate. Not really, Larry said. Well, we've been watching videos on coping with PTSD and shooter's remorse. Were you shown anything like that? Michael said, and then sucked down at the warm hot chocolate. Sucked down the warm chocolate. No, Larry and Peyton answered. We know it's going to be hard. That's why we have been studying on how to deal with the aftermath of killing bad people. I need to change this. We realize. David O's in from England. Hey, hope everyone's good over there, Dave. Let's get this realized. We realized that we and change the structure on that sentence a little bit. We realized that they are animals that need to be put down, Kimberly stated flatly as she took Michael's empty mug to the kitchen as as she, let me change this around, as she finished sucking down, yeah. Kimberly stated flatly as she took Michael's empty mug to the kitchen and she finished sucking hers down, and then rinsed out their mugs. That may come, Larry asked, playing the devil's advocate. Once the roads are, hang on, I felt that sentence wrong too. Once the roadblocks are in place, there'll be warning signs telling everyone that the area is quarantined and to turn around and to turn around. And anyone who goes around the blocks will be shot. And anyone who keeps coming is a threat to us, and we will deal with it accordingly. Hardcore, Peyton said. Hoorah. She replied. And she's back. Hang on, what it is. And she's back. There we go. Benjamin said, smiling. Kimberly glanced over at Benjamin and saw that he was smiling. What? She's back. Michael's Marine Ninja is back. My daughter is back. I feel better again. Thanks, Pop. Kimberly smiled back. We'll be ready to run in a minute, Michael said as he finished putting the water bladders into his and Kimberly's training packs and hooked the siphoning tubes to the shoulder straps. Are we arming up? Kimberly asked. With coyotes and maybe a cougar out and about, somebody better be, Janet said. I'll get our belts, Michael said as he hurried back to the supply room to get them. There's a box in there with a couple new belts and holsters that Douglas wanted me to give you. Okay, I'll look at them. Coyotes and cougars, Peyton asked. Little L. Added a little nervously. Cougars are not really common here, but there are a couple around the North Rim area. They shy away from people, especially adults, unless cornered. Coyotes are pack animals, but are bigger threats to cats, dogs, and small children than adults unless they are starving. Bears even less so. If you notice, around here I wear my Ruger revolver on my hip and my Glock in a shoulder holster. When I'm by myself, I also have a rifle or shotgun with me, Janet said. That's because I've seen coyotes. I haven't seen cougars or bears. I guess we should be carrying as well, Larry said. Michael came out of the supply room looking a little distracted. He had a box under his left arm, and in his right hand was a white plastic chipped ID card he was staring at. Hey, babe, what's that? I'm not sure. I put on one of the new belts and combat holsters. When I grabbed yours, I saw my picture on this ID card at the bottom of the box. There's one for you, too. What? Kimberly asked, totally confused, and stepped over to take a look. Oh, Monica spoke up. Remember, I said those special holsters were from Douglas? He said there were some other special items in there you'll find useful. Military ID? Wow, it looks like the real deal, Kimberly said. Let me take a look, Larry said as he pulled out his key ring. Taking the ID card from in one hand, he activated a small light on the key ring, and a purple light bathed the ID card. Several holograms and background lettering appeared. It has all the right UV trackers. Why would he give you these? I don't know. Kimberly replied, still confused. There's a bubble wrap envelope in the bottom of the box with your name on it, Michael said, and it's open. There's another card sticking out with you. Took the other belt and holster and flipped it over her shoulder, then took the envelope out and dumped its contents onto the countertop. Okay, she said as she sorted through the contents. There's my Marine ID, Arizona driver's license for both of us. She handed Michael his. Birth certificates. Wait, these have us 5 years older than we really are. So does my driver's license, Michael added. Here's a letter from Douglas. Kimberly, it was an... Hang on, that does not need to be capitalized there because that's a comment. Kimberly, it was an honor to serve your father and help you and Michael. If things get foobar like you and my dad believe, you might need these items. Warning, if you use them where the chip gets read by a computer linked to the APHIS, then the hidden program will access every connected database it can and change your information to match these documents. If that happens, for all legal intent and purposes, you'll be the age on these, and you'll be in the Marine CO, and you'll be in the Marine Corps. If the local PD just run the numbers off the cards, the information will be verified, but the program will not activate. The IDs are real. The birth certificates are not, but will pass any inspection. A good friend of mine paid off a bunch of debts he owed me getting these. I'm paying off a debt I owe your father. If there is a total collapse of the central command, the orders contained here will allow you to retrieve the items listed on each of the three manifests from any Marine base. From any Marine base, do not use more than one at the same base. Also, in this packet are your MOSs. You're both first lieutenants with an MOS of Ground Intelligence Officer 0203. Ground Intelligence Officers serve as primary platoon commanders in division reconnaissance companies, infantry platoons, scout sniper platoons, and other ground intelligence assignments. Current, you are listed listed as assigned to a scout sniper platoon of the 3rd Forcon that was last assigned to the State Department, CIA. The thumb drive includes all of the training manuals and other data you will need to know for these positions. Whether or not you want to or need to use these items, you should study the manuals diligently. Like I stated purposely, this only becomes activated if the chips are read by a computer linked to APHIS. Only use them if absolutely necessary, because once you do, you are Marines. Side note, if either chip is read after your scheduled wedding date, the program will list you two as married and both of you will be activated. In the little case are 24 special contact lenses for your left eye. My girlfriend works at an eye doctor and had these lenses made to let me change this around a little bit. To the PE had the lenses made to the specifications of your patch and sunglasses. That way you don't have to wear either if you want to blend in. There's more in the thumb drives on the read me first file. Good luck and stay safe. At your service, Captain Douglas J. Cooper, U.S. Marine. COR. Marine Corps, retired. Well, Kimberly started, hang on. Well, Kimberly started to continue. We need to think hard about this, Michael said quickly. But the driver's licenses and birth certificates say you are 22. That means you can quote legally. Hang on, let me put that. There we go. Legally carry your pistols, Benjamin said. You can use those whether or not you use the military IDs. True, Larry said. I would carry those driver's licenses anyways. I agree, Michael said, but we need to get running. Mama, can you download the thumb drives onto our laptops? Sure thing. Hang on here. Kimberly asked. Kimberly asked, sure thing, honey, Monica said. Oh, there are 2 more boxes for each of you with more uniforms in them. Pops, can you unload all but 8 of the 100-pound propane tanks? Propane tanks out of my truck. Sure. Do you want me to bring it over to the camper village? No, Michael and I will take it over after our run. She said, hang on, let me fix this. She said as she adjusted her combat belt. All right. This is why I'm proofreading this stuff, because when I type it while I'm writing and I'm in the zone, I'll type a page up so friggin' fast and there are all sorts of little minor errors in it because my mind sees what my brain is thinking, even though it's not on the paper the way my brain's thinking. So I got to go and correct it. She said as she adjusted her combat belt and holster. Okay, do you want to take the tractor? Do you want me to take the tractor to unload the tanks? Benjamin asked. No, keep it here. They can get together and muscle tanks out into position. Kimberly, yeah, Kimberly as all right, yeah. Kimberly said as she grabbed her 50-pound backpack and hefted it on. We'll see you in a couple hours, Michael said as he opened the door. I feel like I'm back in boot again. Peyton married to Larry. Peyton muttered to Larry. The prisoner looked at the site before him. There it was, Gizer Air Base, just a quarter mile ahead. Now all he had to do was get onto the base without being shot. As he drove down the road towards the south gate, he saw the guards shifting their position and readying themselves. He was about 75 yards from the barrier. Oh, when he was about 75 yards from the barrier, he stopped the pickup and slowly got out with his hands raised. Don't shoot, he shouted. I'm an American, a Marine. He took off the cloth he had wrapped about his head and removed his jacket and shirt and slowly turned around, showing he was not wearing a suicide vest or carrying weapons. He shouted again, request attention. Approach and be recognized, came the reply. Smiling, he walked forward, and two of the guards hurried towards him. Hurry up! The last plane is leaving in an hour, and they'll want to check you out and clear you before it does. One of the guards said, as they were. Hang on here. Okay. For those of you who have been are new, the three dots here changes areas and stuff within. It's a sort of like a notification that things are changing here in uh, the chapter. As they were running up Forest Service Road 282, Larry and Peyton were surprised at the pace that Michael and Kimberly were setting. How long do you keep this pace up? For about an hour usually, but we're not doing the full 11 miles today. If you can keep this up for an hour, then you deserve to have those IDs activated, Peyton grumbled. You had to go there, Michael said, shaking his head. Don't worry, baby. I'm not going to do a recon cadence. Well, not until the end, maybe. All right, hang on a second here. My tooth is really killing me, so I'm going to take a minute and get some stuff on it, and hopefully that'll numb it up a little bit so I can continue on here. All right, so I'll be right back in a minute. There we go. And back up there. All right. That took a little longer than I expected because my daughter texted me about Eli, my grandson, has um, autism. His worker is taking him right now to take him to some things she does with him on Sundays. And I just let her know that I should be done with the live stream before she's done with Eli's, so she can drop Eli off her while Megan and the other three boys are at church. Okay. All righty. Let's get back at it. So Larry began. What are your thoughts on those IDs? Okay, she's just acknowledging the text I sent her. So what are your thoughts on those IDs? I'm not sure, Kimberly said. I have to read the file first. I'm half tempted to use them just to be a Marine like my dad, but I know I'm not ready. I need to be trained. You know, Peyton began, if things get really foobar and the computer system may not be functional. Heck, the entire government may not be functional. You may not be able to activate the program. I know, she said with a bit of sadness in her voice, but I hope that somewhere, some bit of the government survives to help pull the country back together. Can we read those files? Larry asked. Kimberly hesitated. Let me see what's on the read me first file. I may decide to delete everything but the manuals and shred the cards. I have to check it out and sleep on it first. Larry nodded to himself. That was as good of an answer as he was hoping for right now. The day had gone pretty much as expected. After the morning run, they met back at the maintenance building, and staff, I gotta capitalize that second S for sergeant there, and Staff Sergeant Peyton Grimm took charge of the physical training program for everyone. After PT, Marcy, Linda, and Nora went back to their rooms at the Jacob Lake Inn. Soon word was going around that the people from Alpine had brought Army Rangers to train them. And there was going to be hand-to-hand combat training after lunch for anyone who wanted to learn. After PT, Kimberly and Michael ran back to the cabin, showered, and drove back in her F-350 with the 8 of the 100-pound propane tanks. Susan followed her in her truck, and Susan followed them in her truck. Once they got back with them, Jake, hang on. To the camp, GROU, campground, with the tanks. Once they got back to the campground with the tanks, Jake them distributed. I'll just leave this. They distributed the tanks to those that had the most need currently. He also made sure that those who got tanks did the unloading and placement of the tanks. If they couldn't lift them, and if they couldn't lift them, okay, and if they couldn't lift them, that they got help from another that was getting a tank, and in return helped them. In return, they helped them too. Susan's trailer was unloaded and she took it back to the cabin. The rest of the trailers were also unloaded into the cargo containers. Four of the biggest cargo trailers were chosen to go to St. George to get what supplies they could. One extra adult and teen member from each. One extra adult and one teenager from eight of the families went with them, making 4 per vehicle. Dan had gone to Kanab to pick up several of the filters. Yeah, it looks better. Dan had gone to Kanab and picked up several of the filters for the big generator. He was also able to get a fuel pump, injector pump, and 2 sets of injectors for the big cat engine. And let's get the spell check on that done right. Caterpillar engine. With the well pump running all night, there was enough water in the tank for George to be able to get all the water lines flushed out. Then he tracked down where the septic tank and leach field were at. Next, he worked on flushing out the sewer lines, starting at the mobile home since it was closest to the septic tank. Then he did the maintenance building and worked his way back from there towards the CAMP camp GROUN towards the campground office. Okay. Then he did the maintenance building and worked his way back from there towards the campground office. Okay, got it. Doing it this way, he explained, he knew that he had cleared the line from the last hookup to the septic tank, and that he was flushing, flushing small amounts. He was flushing small amounts at a time. If he started at the office, there was a very good chance that the debris in the lines, in the sewer lines, would bunch up somewhere and really block the line. As it was, they still wound up flushing several ground squirrels and their nests and several snakes into the septic tank. Using a .22 rifle loaded with snake loads, Peyton dispatched the critters, and they were scooped out of the septic tank along with the debris that had been flushed out of the lines. George had used half the water in the tank to flush the lines. By the time George was done, Dan and Jake had the big generator all cleaned up and running smoothly. Benjamin showed up with their Coyote 40 horsepower tractor and moved the generator outside to where it could be hooked up to the campground's system. Yeah. The pump that Janet and Monica had running on the generator was the top-off pump. It was used to keep the water tank filled at night after the campers would go to bed. It was a small SMA, small 1-horse pump. During the daytime, there was a I figure I gotta get the sentence straightened out. During the daytime, there uh, okay, let's see how that sounds. During the daytime, you need to put a comma in there, comma. During the daytime, there was a bigger pump that was to be used. It was a 5-horsepower pump that pumped 60 gallons a minute. Now that the generator was running, they checked the electrical lines to make sure there was no shorts and started the big pump. With the big pump running, the tank would fill a lot faster, but it'd still take a day and a half to fill. Got it. This one's going. This okay. Another one of my fast type sentences. Okay, but it would still take a day and a half. Yeah, here we go. Fill the okay, but it would still take a day and a half running the big pump, running the all big pump all the time to fill the huge water tank. George said it would be better to run it only for 10 minutes and the rest for 10 minutes. This would allow the water table to equalize, not draw sand into the well. Let me break this up here into the well. If sand yeah, I got to work the sentence good here. So give me a second here to figure this out. Sand. Sand got into it would not burn out. It would uh, okay, let's see how that sounds. If sand got into the pump, it would ruin it. Oh, it would grind up the impeller and ruin the pump. So for the next several days, it was decided that that the teams would take turns monitoring the pump and turn it on and off during the day. At night, the small pump would run all night. Until the tank was full, showers would be limited to 3 minutes of running time, which meant get in, get wet, turn off the water, scrub down, and rinse off. No baths, no washing hair. Several of the boys volunteered to skip their showers and let others use their water. Their mother said no. Janet called Nolan Buttons and bought another load of alfalfa and had it delivered to the maintenance building. Kimberly had everyone not busy helping out with other not busy with other other duties help out stacking inside okay, there we go. Now this makes more sense. Kimberly had everyone not busy with other duties help out stacking. I still need to change that. Foul. There we go. Kimberly had everyone not busy with other duties help out stacking the alfalfa inside the maintenance building along a section of the east wall. They would use it for archery practice as the cattle ate it away during the winter. There was a lot of growth. There was a lot of growth. And let me see here. At. VE vegetation. There was a lot of edible vegetation currently in the pasture, and Jake thought they wouldn't have to start using the bales of alfalfa till after the snow buried what was in the pasture. He said the pasture growth would last until after Thanksgiving, easily and past Christmas without snow. The bales he brought hang on here. Okay, sorry, I'm getting a little confused. Let me read this because I got stuff repeating. I think. There was a lot of vegetation and pension. Wouldn't have to. He said the pasture go to the bales he brought from Alpine should last till the end of April, and the new bales and the new bales would should last from then until the end of August if the pasture didn't produce any, which it should be producing, which it should be doing by June 1st. All right, there we go. Let's try reading that one again and see if we got it to work right. Okay, guys? All right. He said the pasture growth would last until Thanksgiving easily and past Christmas without snow. The bales, had brought from Alpine should then last until the end of April, and the new bale should last from then until the end of August if the pasture didn't produce any, which it should be doing by June 1st. There we go. Got that little bit of information out of the way right here. During the potluck lunch meeting, Kelly reported that she got work from Alpine. The volcano fissure on Escadilla Mountain had split open for a quarter mile down the east side, and a lot of lava flowed out and down the mountain during the night. It stopped during the day. During the day, as the magma shifted with the pull of the asteroids gravitational pull. PU. Okay. And the lava flowed out and down the mountainside during the night. It stopped during the day as the magma shifted with the pull of the asteroids shifted with the asteroid's gravitational pull. A fair amount of ash was seen blowing across the state line towards Roswell, New Mexico. They all had mixed emotions, relief for having gotten out in time and concern for those that stayed behind. HIND. Whoa, shoot. I just got hit with a wave of nausea. Damn. Oh. Woof. Man. I don't know what's up, man. I just got hit with a super wave of nausea. I know it's got to be related to my cracked molar here and the pain from the nerve being exposed. It might be the medication I took to help relieve the pain affecting me. Wow. Yeah, this is some severe nausea. Guys, I am not going to be able to continue on here. I got to go lay down. Let me throw that on there so I know where exactly I'm stopping at. Guys, I may come back on live later. I'm not sure. I'm really feeling sick. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here now. All right. Sorry about this, but this is just, oh man, this is some nasty feeling here. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.